right, enough of that. Wow. There is three things you can guarantee in life: death, taxes, and Man United making a game harder for themselves. That should be a game that they should easily win, or a game that they should easily see the win out, but they'll just go ahead and make it harder for themselves. Wow, that was another example of a mixed roller coaster of emotions type of game. But hey, we needed 1 point going into that game to secure Champions League football against our historical rivals, Liverpool. Obviously, you're thinking bottom line, we need a point. No, these are our historical rivals. We need the win. This is our chance to do the double over them, and I'm so happy that we did. And if there is a game that you're going to go into thinking this is your chance to finally padlock the chance to secure Champions League football, I wouldn't have chose any other club other than Liverpool or Man City. But I do think Liverpool would have been my choice of club or choice of team to play against to secure that Champions League football. Wow, where do I even begin? I don't even know where to begin with that. 3-2 Man United? Like, that's a crazy, like, you would not, if you were to tell any Man United fan that you would secure Champions League football, you're going to place top four by the end of the season, and you're going to do the double over Liverpool. That's crazy. That genuinely, like, I think no Man United fan would have believed you if you told them that. What an end to the season that we're having. Like, we started the season off so bad, and the way we're finishing the season, like, this is the most we can get. Since we've got knocked out of the FA Cup, and since Michael Carrick has come to the job, top four has been our only goal. We didn't even I don't even think Man U fans were thinking, I don't think anyone in the world was thinking Man U was in the conversation of finishing top four. But since the arrival of Michael Carrick, we're like, top four is something we definitely need. And I'm so happy we finally achieved it. So without further ado, I think we should start talking about more about the game itself. Um, Starting with the starting lineups. I could not be more happy to see Mateus Cunha back in that starting lineup. I said it last video against in our win against Brentford that I didn't think that Cunha was needed for the game. Like, if you had like a little bit of a knock or like a suspicion and injury, keep him sidelined. Like, it's like I still believe that we could do it without him, considering the fact that Dorgu was back for that game. But I mean, he didn't get any playing time, but not exactly how the way I thought it would pan out. But still, we managed to get the win without him. And to see him back in the starting lineup, I was like, thank God. Like, this is was needed. And another thing was, a day before the game, there were a lot of speculations, there were a lot of rumors of Isak probably being injured. I like there were some sources that were saying he was injured. There's some sources saying that's a complete lie. I was not going to let that change my perception of the game until I saw the starting lineups. And to think that he wasn't even a part of the squad kind of confirms it. And at that point, you're thinking, Mohamed Salah, a player that's been our Achilles heel, is injured. Hugo Ekitike, one of their best finishers, apart from Sabazlai. These three players, these three attackers, they're out. This is like a must win. This is a must win, even though we needed a point, and like these are our historic rivals. We were at that point. You're thinking you have to win. You're gonna beat Liverpool, and with the way we started the game, it was a killer instinct of the way we started the game. We were ruthless with the press. We were doing amazing. We were already creating chances off the bat. And funny enough, like right before that set piece was taken for Cunha's goal, I was thinking, bro, at this exact moment, at the game back in Anfield, we were already up 1-0. And Buemo scored the goal in the second minute. We were already winning 1-0. That's crazy. And then as I say that, Cunha, he takes his first attempt, doesn't go through, follows through with his weak foot, beautifully tries to skim past all the players. It does take a slight deflection on McAllister, but ultimately ends up in the back of the net. And I'm thinking, oh my God, let's go. We are already up 1-0. And I've said this multiple times. I don't think like the amount of times I've said this, it's crazy. But once we score that first goal, I'm thinking, oh my God, because we scored this early on, like Are we gonna start doing the thing where we invite them back into the game? Are we gonna take our foot off the gas? But no, we start playing again like we just never scored. I think that's the mindset to have. When you score a goal, you don't act like you're up 1-0. You're going to continue playing like it's 0-0 until you're getting closer and closer to the end of the game. And that's exactly how we continued playing. We were still ruthless with the press. We were still going at them. We were still creating chances. Bruno with amazing pass towards Sesko. It doesn't go in first time. And then Cunha retrieves it, I think passes it back to um Emblem, I believe. I forgot who it was. I think it was Luke Shaw. I forgot who it was, but then he gets played back into Sesko. Controversial goal, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. At first thought, I didn't even think it hit his hand until they were saying suspicious of a handball. They were reviewing for VAR, and even with the VAR footage, I was like, the heck, it doesn't touch his arm. It doesn't look like it touches his arm at all or his hand. And then after they claimed the goal and they said it was legit, then they start playing slower replays, and you can really see the ball kind of change momentum as it hits his fingertips. And I'm like, okay, shoot, that looks like an issue. Like that looks like it should have been ruled out. But nonetheless, like if you're thinking about that point in the game, for one, even if that is a handball, I think you're gonna go back to the moment where Curtis Jones was tugging his arm. That should have been a pen and possibly a red card because that's a scoring opportunity. So, in my opinion, I think this goal being allowed while they're able to play with 11 men, I think honestly that probably works out better for them, in my opinion. But you know how media goes. That's only what they're gonna say. They're not gonna look at what happened right before, like genuinely 10 seconds before that goal even happened. But that's beyond me. But the point is that I think it is fair to say that we deserve to be up 2-0 by that point. We were starting the game really well, and we were already creating so many chances. And at that point, once that second goal went in, I'm I don't think I'm the only Man U fan that thought this, but I'm like, this can look really dark for Liverpool. Like maybe we can do the same thing they did to us. 5-0 at Old Trafford, 7-0 at Anfield. Maybe this is our time to get revenge. That's what every Man U fan is thinking right now. So, you know, we don't just end it there. We want to keep hitting them hard and hard, keep this momentum up, don't let it drop. And then we start doing the thing where we kind of sit back a little bit more and invite them back into the game. But even doing that, like I'd be scared because I'm like, you know what, in the Prem this season especially, all it takes is one set piece, one unlucky moment for the ball to end up in the back of your own net. But I have watched enough Liverpool to know that when they go a goal down, when they concede first, it is very rare that they come back and especially come back with a win. Because I think apart from the Newcastle game at Anfield, where Anthony scored and scored the first goal, and then they ended the game with a win of 4-1. Besides that, I can't. There's not a single time I remember where they went a goal down to start the game, and then they came back. So at that point, I'm already thinking, okay, this should be a win sealed in the bag no matter what. But we need to hit at them harder. And I still think even though we didn't score for the rest of the half, even though it could have easily been 4-0, 5-0, I was still happy with the performance, and I'm like, okay, this is something that we need to carry into the second half. And then soon comes the second half. Silly mistake made by Amad Diallo, and he's been getting a lot of criticism. I can't lie, this does not help him kind of state his case that he is still a good player. And I defended him last video. I told him that he needed to step up, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that serious because we already have other players stepping up while he is still struggling a little bit. So, and I would even go to say that he's he's doing bad because he's currently in a bad form under Michael Carey. Because if you think about it, the game against City, he had an amazing game against City. He scored a goal that he was offside, but regardless, he found a way to get the ball in the back of the net, and he found another break, and he unfortunately hit the post. I still think Ahmad has quality. It's just that's a silly mistake to give away. But end of the day, even though it is a mistake that's given to him, it's who he gave the ball to. honestly, I think that's what annoyed me a lot more. I'm like, you can give the ball away. It's okay to make mistakes. You gave it straight to their best player. You gave it straight to Dominic Szoboszlai. And honestly, the way he just drove the ball up and he looked and he's like, nope, I'm not. I'm taking this on myself, and he did it. Fair play. It's hard to say that that one is gifted, but ultimately it stemmed from a mistake made by us, making it harder on ourselves. And then what? 5 minutes later, Lemons passes it straight to, I believe it was um, McAllister. McAllister comes and intercepts it. Beautiful read by him, but ultimately that was a mistake in the grave made by us. That is where we put the nail in our own coffin, the final nail. Like at that point, even at that point, I wasn't even like at that point. You're also thinking there is our halftime record on the line, and there's no way we're about to bottle a 2-0 lead. But like it's once again that concept of we are putting the pressure back on ourselves. Something we've done multiple times this entire season. In the eyes of neutrals, this can be an interesting game, but to the hearts of Manchester United fans, this is not okay for our blood pressure. This is not okay for us to watch. So once again, it's just the fact that we just it's like not even the fact that we dropped off momentum. It's the fact that this time we made mistakes that led directly to goals. They were clinical with them, and fair play to them. But once again, it was just something that was frustrating to watch. And I've said Lamens is a really good goalkeeper, and the last time I could even remember him making a mistake was against Leeds that almost led to a goal, but he did well to make up for that mistake. But this time it actually led to a goal. And one thing I'm really, really worried about with that mistake is that, let's be honest, if you're going to come into Man United, the two most difficult positions to try and keep your mentality locked into those positions is the striker position, number 9, and as goalkeeper. We've known how much stick you can receive from media for playing those positions and making mistakes. Once Lamens made that mistake, bro, I saw Onana in net. I didn't even see Lamens anymore. I saw Onana. That's how much PTSD us fans have. So what I'm worried about is that recency bias is a big factor in soccer, and I just don't want this to become a moment where now Lamens kind of looks untrustworthy, or everyone says he is safe hands. He still is safe hands. Don't get me wrong. He still is. And there's been moments with him where you're saying, okay, those are saves that he probably could have made. Once again, he is a young goalkeeper. He's still learning. But for him to make a mistake that led to a goal, this is what I think his 30th, maybe getting close to his 30th Prem game. Still not bad. A goalkeeper can make a mistake once in a while. I just don't want this to become a thing where media is portraying it too much to the point that starts knocking his own confidence down. Or I just don't want this to get into his own head where it just starts affecting his game. So hopefully none of those things kind of happen, and he still continues to hold his head high. And yeah, like after that, like I said, you know, I was talking to some of my friends and I was telling them, and I'm like, dude, I'm honestly like I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. I'm not even worried that we're gonna lose this game. Like I know my team well enough. I know Liverpool well enough. They're not winning this, and we're not losing either. So a worst case scenario, it ends 2-2, or we're gonna win. But regardless, it was more so. I was just more so annoyed of the fact that we once again put ourselves in a worse position, and we just shot ourselves in the foot. That's what it more so felt like. So going in, and then after that, they were looking like the better team. It looks like they completely flipped the switch. We started losing the ball in midfield. They started playing on the counter strongly, and Thank God that not all the players right now they're not in good form. Gravenberch pretty poor in that game. Um, Florian Wirtz, I've been saying, you know, in the beginning, at least he was showing us moments where you could see why he was signed, but since he's returned from his injury, dude, even that has been shocking. And you can see a lot of Liverpool fans, they're like, this is like, this is getting unacceptable at this moment. So it's it's also the fact that I just know that they are not right now. Liverpool right now in their current form are just not good enough to go and try and score another one without us making another mistake. So those are one of those things where I was. That's one of the reasons why I was confident that we're not going to lose the game. But once again, just putting ourselves in a weird position, right? And as the game goes on, I think we slowly start to kind of gain our confidence back. We're starting to apply more pressure. We're starting to play with more hunger. We're like, okay, we need to win this. And finally, oh my God, I you cannot there cannot be a better player to wrap the game up like that than Kobe Manu. What was that? I think it was his first Prem. I don't know when the last time he scored a Prem goal was, but for him to be recognized as an incredible player, he passes the eye test easily. All you have to do is watch Man United games, and you'll see why he is crucial for our team. Like it still baffles me that there were some Man United fans when he was first reintroduced back into the team since Man City. They were saying, "What does Kobe Manu really bring?" Because not if you're looking at a deep line midfielder, not everything is about goals, not everything is about assists. But look at the stats that they're bringing. Look at the impact that they have. We saw the way we combusted against Leeds when we didn't have Kobe Manu. But look, with Kobe Manu, he had an incredible game, easily man of the match. And what does he do? He scores the winning goal. That is exactly what you need from a Man United player. The way he for me, it wasn't even him scoring, but it's the way he scored as well. You can see Dominic Szoboszlai going in for the tackle. That still doesn't stop him from running. He runs with full power, perfectly hits the ball. The ball is still bouncing. He perfectly hits it, places it right into the corner. That technique, this is why we need Kobe Manu in our midfield. Like, once again, if this is just not another wake up call as to people who are still doubting him, then here's another green light for you. And considering the fact that he's done that after he signed a 5-year contract, you couldn't make any more Manu fan happier. Like because he had the winning goal. I think it kind of brought the tension off the fact that we almost bottled it, but still, I'm happy he had his moment. I'm really happy he had his moment. That is the one thing you can come out saying that was good from this game, other than the fact that we made Champions League and we did the double over Liverpool. But Kobe Manu, my guy. But where do we go from here? I feel like now that we've secured Champions League football, I don't think this means that we lift our foot off the gas yet again. I think we still use the next coming games. At least we know we have nothing on the line. We have no kind of pressure, but still, we need to win one more game because me personally, as a Man U fan, I really want to finish above Liverpool. So I think winning one more game does kind of seal that for us. And still, we should still use the remaining of our games to our advantage. We have next upcoming um at Sunderland Stadium of Light, and then we do have Nottingham Forest at Old Trafford, and then one last game. I don't really remember what the last game is, but once again, I think it might be Brighton. I don't think we played Brighton away yet, so I think that's our last game. But once again, we don't. This is not where we take our foot off the gas. This is where we can start reintroducing other players, giving them more play time. But still, we need to go and we need to continue harder. And the fact that we've secured Champions League football, like it's still like I'm happy. Like this is where we belong. It goes to show that where we've been over the last 2 years, and I'm happy we're finally making a return. So yeah, thanks for tuning in.